How we doing, guys? I would be remiss if I didn't mention off the top before we get to our spread picks. DraftKings is going through some changes. I believe in London they banned DFS. So if we are Americans, we're going to be getting up early this week to watch. I believe a game in London, some international flavor. Just be appreciative that we have the options we do. To bet and obviously bet responsibly. But like, there's a lot of turmoil right now with even the Canadian government, whether this is going to be allowed, whether it's a game, whether it's a strategy. So I just thought I want to mention off the top because we're such a strategy-based kind of performance show. We really try to give you the idea of a lineup more than the picks and plays. So I just want to say I'm in favor of allowing people to play this game for what it is. Obviously gambling and addictions are important to consider, but I do think this is a game. So my condolences for the people that literally might have had money in their bank account and like they're told like, oh, don't worry, we'll refund you. But like, this is entertainment for us and for a lot of people. So I do kind of feel bad. We do have a show pick though. I'm pretty proud of that. Do we have our number generator, Danny?
I have it pulled up, yeah.
I should mention, do you guys want to just briefly talk about anything this week that you want to mention?
Not in particular for me.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Like, nothing like big news or anything, no. Like, I've been ready to talk. I got ready mostly last night with everything I needed on the slate. So, yeah. It seems pretty straightforward this week. There's a lot of good spots that I like.
Yeah,
particularly for DFS. When it comes to the spread picks, we'll have first. Like, there's not a lot of good game. There's like 5 good totals that to bet on, and you can get some leverage in places. Like, but the money is sort of flowing where it's supposed to go on favorites. So it's like, this is going to be a really weird week in my mind.
Yeah, I know. Like, I know we'll get to the picks here in a second, but like, we had a lot of we have had injury news. But this week felt like we got a lot of late injury news, like weird timing releases. Like Jonathan Taylor got kind of released at a weird time. So it might affect the lineups, but like I thought we would see more movement on some of these games. And then some games I didn't think we'd see any movement on. We got a lot of movement on. So it's a strange week. And sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes it's a bad thing. So I'm glad to be with you guys to talk it over. Go ahead, Donnie. You got it pulled up?
Well, first we'll just go over the show pick because it was pretty quick for us, I feel. Patriot +1. I was a little iffy on it at first, personally, but the Dolphins are not equipped to win football games the way they're playing right now. They need to be able to score. The team is built to be a scoring team. And the Patriots thrive in this type of game. They're going to force turnovers. They're going to beat you sloppy. And that's just why I feel like it makes sense here.
Yeah, that's eventually why I caved as well. It wasn't my favorite pick, but then it allows me to have more of my individual takes with more passion. But everything logically lined up for the Patriots. They're probably, to Donnie's point, better built for this type of game environment, and you're giving them plus numbers. It just felt too good to pass up. Sometimes, Gov, you got to do the obvious thing. So you pointed us in the obvious direction, and I couldn't argue with it.
But let's all get our numbers out there so we can get to the next picks.
Yeah, I'm going to go old school Kobe Bryant. I'll go number 8 today.
33.
All right, I'll just go with 50. It's 13.
Logan, you get the number 1 pick. You get the first pick. I'm the middleman this week. Donnie, you go last.
Yeah. I love a lot of these.
Oh, cool. It's top down, just like us. Perfect order this week. Oh, that's synergy.
Yeah. I love a lot of these this week, so I got to think about which one you're not going to take. I'm just going to take the obvious one off the top, the one I think has the best chance of cashing for me. I'll take Seattle -7. The Giants are without Neighbors. They're without Singletary, who I don't even think is very good. Daniel Jones has the propensity to get himself concussed and just make poor decisions. So even if he's in there, he might make a poor decision. He might get benched because he'll injure his neck running around trying to create plays that aren't there. I like this Giants defense. They've actually showed pretty stout, but I do think maybe it's biased because I saw it recently. But the Seahawks, I think, have a lot more offensive firepower than they have shown. I mean, maybe recently they've shown it, but like I do think that's an actual trend that can continue. And they're getting Walker back this week, who was off the injury report, not just off the injury report, but early off the injury report. Seemed to be really spry and feeling good. I kind of like the running back in the running game this week with having such fresh legs and an ability to attack. Go ahead if you guys got anything on that game.
I honestly like the other side, to be honest. Like at that big of a spread.
Interesting.
Seattle's playing on a short week after playing Detroit, who, like, so far we have a track record this year of the team that plays Detroit has then lost by like 2 touchdowns or more the next week. Detroit is a very physical team and they play you tough. So like Seattle on a short week after a team playing a team like Detroit, I don't know if the Giants win by like 2 touchdowns like these other teams, but I think it actually is I think it's more of a shot that Seattle doesn't cover a 7-point spread. Like they could still win, but they might win by a field goal or something.
To your point, just before we kick it over to Donnie, the Lions have also played 2 overtime games this year, and so it's not just a short week. But you talked about physicality and the abuse of bodies, playing longer. The Seahawks were basically in overtime, were they not? Or not overtime? What am I talking about? I guess I'm just assuming it's a short week.
They have had an overtime game this year, so like
they have
played some of the most amount of football that you can play in the league.
Maybe I should have hit snooze on my alarm and slept a bit more. I guess.
Yeah,
go ahead, Donnie.
The Seahawks won in overtime on a phantom PI, but that's a different story.
Oh yeah. Okay, I believe I'm next, right? I'm the middleman. Okay.
You are, yes.
So like it'd be easy just to go against Logan on that game, but I want to try to not do that right off the bat.
Right, because you always lose at heads.
You're going to make me do that, and then head-to-head whatever pick you make next, aren't you? That's what you're going to do, aren't you?
I got to catch up somehow.
I was going to say there is a competitive element to it, given that we have a prize at the end of the rainbow.
Now, there's a lot of good games this week all around. Like actually, like the late slate of games, and then the Sunday and Monday night game look like just actual good games like good football games that could be played. But like when it comes to a good spread, I just don't know where I want to trust. Like, I think what I'm going to do is, you know what? Yeah, let's get a little off the wall. Ravens -2.5.
Oh, you took it.
I like it this week.
I was gonna take that for sure.
Yep. Like from what the metrics I look at with the money and the bets and everything, it's like, yeah, I don't think they're getting bet enough for what they should do. Like I think most people think the Ravens will win this game.
Yeah.
But the money is more on people hoping that the Bengals win. And like, if the Ravens win, they're going to cover a field goal.
They're going to cover a field goal, right?
The Ravens aren't winning this game 31-30. They're winning this game 27-24, which covers. At worst, if not 27-20, something like that. Really, they probably win this game 24-10 because of their defense.
Yeah. Well, Cincinnati's so bad against the run too, and that's exactly what the Ravens want to do, which speaks to a kind of slow, slogged out game that may be close, but I do agree with you. They're going to win by more than a field goal.
Yeah, or they straight up lose, and that's what would happen. And like I can see why people would put some extra money on. Well, the Bengals might just straight up win, so I'll take plus the points. Like I've done that plenty of times, where it's like, right. Yeah, I think this team wins, and so getting +1 or +2 is just fine.
Donnie, any thoughts?
Not really.
Well, you love this game, so like, what you didn't?
It's the same thing. I mean, I would have made the same point you made. So But
All right, what do you got? You've got 2 picks in a row now. What do you got?
Yeah, very similar atmosphere. These were going to be my 2 picks back to back. It was the Ravens in this next one. Give me Steelers -3. They failed me last week, but same deal. Cowboys, awful rush defense. The Steelers are going to want to run the ball. Would we be shocked if between Fields and the running backs they end up with 250 rush yards? No. That's how I envision this game. It's going to go exactly the Steelers' way.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like, that should be a really good Sunday night game. But the Steelers at home with that defense, like, Cowboys have already been wrecked by good defenses this year. And really, like, I think, like, Cleveland's defense hasn't taken as much of a step back talent-wise as people think. I think it's just the fact that they're getting outplayed on offense so bad, the defense has to be out there so much.
That is true.
Like, that's going to expose any defense that's got to be out there for 35, 40 minutes a game. So, like, the Steelers will still, like, that defensive line is probably going to wreck the Cowboys. They already had almost no run game. Like, CD either has to have a breakout game against the secondary, which I don't think will happen, or Dallas is probably going to lose this game again.
Yeah, Cooks is out, so they're also shuffling some pieces. My problem is I think the Cowboys are more talented, but maybe I'm glomming onto the media attention a bit much. I just didn't look at like Dak Prescott's ability to throw the ball and what he's done, and sure they've lost, but they've lost to good teams like the Ravens. You know, they hung tight with the Ravens. They came back. I think they've been put in positions where they had to prove their offense more than the Steelers have. Now, maybe that Steelers defense is just going to stay dominant and it won't matter, because if that happens, we already have seen with some of these offensive lines this year, defensive lines have just been teeing off on some of these quarterbacks. Dak Prescott's not the athlete he used to be. I just look at it as the Cowboys are more talented, but I'm not like Jerry Jones. I'm not like blind to think that the Steelers have none. It's just I think this might be a get right game for Dak Prescott in that offense.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, to your guys' point though, that offense has got to carry this Cowboys defense, because they're just not the Cowboys defense is not good, and we've kind of seen it, but especially this year they've been like bottom of the rank for me. Just the eye test, not even stats, just bad.
Yeah, I got, speaking of a get-right game, I really think this is going to be a get-right game here. Team that struggled, my next pick. The record doesn't show that they've struggled, but they have not seen their full potential yet. I think it happens this week in a revenge game. Give me Diggs and the Texans against Bills at -1.
Houston -1. Ooh.
Yeah, I like Houston -1. Especially because the Bills are so banged up on defense. Is that why you like them too, Donnie?
I really don't even I'm not even looking at it as, it's the Bills. Like, it being a Diggs revenge game, I think matters to him. I just think the Texans are going to want to get right, and they want to get right now. They've struggled a lot this year.
Yeah.
But 2 games against division opponents, you're supposed to struggle in division. It happens. This is month 2 now. Now we're getting serious.
Well, to me, it's like kind of the opposite of what the Steelers problem, where it's like, well, they're doing what they're meant to do. To me, the Texans scream like we want to pass the ball. They have Diggs, they have Collins, they have a really efficient, maybe generationally efficient quarterback. They have Tank Dell coming back, who's just faster than the wind. Even Dalton Schultz probably hasn't been used or utilized to his full potential yet. And Bobby Sloan, just he'll just run the ball. And he's acting like this defense is kind of like the Steelers, but they haven't been. They're not like this grinded out, like good defense. They've given up a lot. And why not just lean into your offensive weapons? I mean, Diggs will be motivated. Gov, you have any takes?
Personally, I like to stay away from this game. Like, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I agree Diggs is going to treat it as a revenge game, 100%. But does that matter on the Houston offense? Like, he's already got his role. I don't think they're going to give him more of a role in this game. If they did, would that screw up what they do with Nico and everything? And like outside of the one bad game against Baltimore, and Baltimore might be specifically built to like go up against these AFC juggernauts. They're just not built well in general, so they lose in the playoff. But like Baltimore, or Buffalo, I don't think is that bad of a defense. Their offense is kind of like, what the hell's going on? It's basically Josh Allen and the scrubs, which I can understand. I remember when it was Cam Newton and the scrubs doing a lot of stupid shit. He had an MVP season doing that. Josh Allen could have an MVP season with Kincaid and Coleman and Shakir as his top weapons. Like, no one would see that coming, but
that's also why I like
this is a close game. Like, at -1, you basically just need Houston to win.
Yeah.
So you're good if you think Houston wins this game. I just not like Buffalo is due for a bounce back game. I don't know if they actually lose this one.
Yeah, and I'll banter just a minute just to make sure Donnie's back here. But the problem with this is like the Bills are on the wrong side of injury variance. They're losing Shakir this week. I think that's a big deal. Maybe that's a good thing for us to target in DFS because then you can take a chance on a rookie. But this team's already kind of been in a flux. Like, are they good? Are they great? Are they going to be a contender? Are we overreacting? And then you take away one of their more sure-handed over-the-middle guys. I just think, to Donnie's point, we haven't seen the best of this offense. Tank Dell on the opposite side coming back to this team. If they don't start using their passing game, I'm going to be disappointed, though. I'll be honest.
And no Mixon again this week, I'm pretty sure.
Right, but Slowick, the offensive coordinator, again, just keeps running the ball. It makes no sense to me. You got all these good, weapons on the outside, and maybe with Tank Dell back, we'll actually see this team in full force. It's my pick, right?
Nope, it is me now.
It is. That's right.
I'm just trying to find a good one. I might just take the other show pick I suggested that you all shot down. Because there doesn't really seem to be anything I like left. Well,
I like a lot actually this week.
Actually, because we're probably going to get to a lot or something from this game, I think I'll just put a nice pick on it. So we are going to take the Packers -3. Green Bay -3. It is -3, correct? Yes, right there, -3.
It is, yes.
Just want to make sure I got the same line. I'm looking at my Action Network and other stuff. I'm not directly looking at DK. Although if I were to bet, I would bet on DK most likely. There's plenty of good sports books for anyone's betting. Yeah.
It's true. I do like the idea, Gov, here, but man, Stafford has been playing like a man possessed this year. Like he is carrying.
Talk about another quarterback throwing all his scrubs. Yeah.
Yeah, and not just that. Like he played the one thing the Bears do is they stop the passing game, and he knew that was his only wagon. That was the only way he could get this team. And him and McVay have kept this team afloat. So it's almost like what the Packers did with.
They're not quite running Kyren Williams like Todd Gurley, but they are using Kyren very effectively to keep the offense in motion.
Which again, Stafford utilizes running backs and especially his weapons better than most. So I'm just staying away. Maybe it is biased, but sometimes when you see something so pretty and it still continues to be pretty, you got to admit it's just beautiful. I do like the numbers though. Statistically, there's nothing that I could argue with. The Packers are probably the most talented, a talented team. They have a quarterback returning. He got some rust knocked off him last week. Jordan Love is a real deal, so I understand why you would take this pick.
Yeah, it's also one of the higher total games. So in DFS, we're going to be playing a lot of this. I have one of my favorite lock plays of the week on one of my locks of this week is from this game. And I will probably jam him or the massive leverage off of him into one of our lineups.
Yeah, I know there's a correlation in this game that will be chalky, and I do not care. We're probably talking about the same one. We'll have to find out in a few
Oh,
minutes.
there's one piece of this game that's chalky that I really, really don't like. Oh,
It
and I
might
know
be.
it's probably the dude you want.
It might be.
We'll see. Does his name begin with or does his name have a W in it?
Yes, sir, it does.
Yeah, okay. We still have a number. That's actually multiple people in that game. So like, we'll see which one you're talking
That's
about.
what I'm saying. There's multiple, so like, if we need to adjust, we can. I like a lot of that game, but it
All
is
right,
my
Logan,
pick, right?
You got the last one. We've taken a lot of good stuff from you.
Okay, I'm. You guys probably think I'm crazy here, but I'm going to take this because I haven't seen any reason to suggest it's going to be any different. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars at -3 over the Colts. They had Joe Flacco had his comeback moment. You know, he talked about his kids being up at the upper deck, being able to watch him play. It was the first game they had went to as a family. You know, because he was a backup, and it just so happened to be the game that he actually got forced in. So if you believe in karma and that kind of horoscope kind of mindset, maybe that's a good story. Some of that good story stuff is starting to wear off, though, I think, in this game. The reason why is because at least Jacksonville knew what they were doing was wrong and adjusted. They ran man coverage like crazy at a stupid high rate in the first 2 weeks. They totally adjusted that, in the last two and looked a lot better on defense. You're going to give me the better quarterback, the better wide receiver, the better offense, and then you're going to take Jonathan Taylor out of this game. They also have their center who is likely out. I believe he was highly, basically doubtful. Ryan Kelly, I believe. So I don't like a lot of this team. They already don't have an over the middle like tight end that Joe Flacco likes. Obviously, Pittman might be interesting for DFS, Downs, these type of guys, but I don't envision the Colts scoring a lot of points. So if there's ever a time for Trevor Lawrence to actually show up and be the offensive firepower guy that we expect, this might be the week, because I just want to mention quickly again, Evan Ingram is expected back. So like the Jacksonville Jaguars are getting healthier, the Colts are getting a lot of unfortunate injuries in key positions. So I'll take the Jags.
See, I'm not opposed to that. I like Indy's defense is definitely a sieve in all fashions. So Jacksonville, if they are going to have a game where they do anything, this is going to be the game.
I mean, you guys actually truly might think it's a throwaway, but I really do think it's a big deal that like Jacksonville was running like 70% man coverage in the first 2 weeks of the season. Literally looked very bad. Lost to the Browns, I believe, in that stretch, and then reverted back. Maybe that's desperation because Peterson is if you looked at the betting odds, for example, he is the prime candidate to get fired first. So there's a lot of desperation in that building. So maybe that's why, but I do like it when a team realizes their mistakes and starts to fix it. I like that.
My only thought is I do actually like some of the indie pieces. I think they will be able to keep up because Jacksonville also hasn't been that great of like a defense. So like Indy isn't really going to be pushed that much anyway.
Now, assuming before I get off of this screen here, in case I have to actually punch in my password for security reasons, could any of you pull up a second screen just so we give the people a visual? Because I'm pretty sure they don't want to see our faces. I mean, that's not the visual they want.
1 sec. I got you in 3, 2, 1.
Thank you.
Okay.
You guys can talk about any place you want. I actually, for efficiency purposes, I put together some of the best values in a lineup already. So we don't have to go to that lineup, but I already have kind of a base, and then we can, if I miss anyone or if you guys want to upgrade any of our value after that, we can do that. Just make sure I'm not.
Well, I mean, like we can start looking at it right here because, like we can talk it through right now and see how close that lineup is.
Yeah, sure.
So, Donnie, what's your favorite value, honestly, on the week? Muted? Maybe you're muted.
I think he's muted.
I'm muted. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if it's my favorite value. I can pick any position, including
Any position. Like we're just gonna pick value spots right here. We'll start with our value lineup and we'll build that. But maybe we'll see how close this is to Logan's value lineup.
That's actually a fun game. I like it.
I will say it's going to be a guy I didn't think I'd mention. Deshaun Watson, kind of feeling like a good atmosphere for him this week.
I was going to say Watson or Dalton would probably be my value quarterback.
I think it's weird to say Watson's my value quarterback, but he's fine.
Flacco really is. Flacco's the value quarterback if he starts. Like, that'll be the consensus one, and he'll project pretty well too. But, like, I wouldn't hate on my boy Dalton, and I can understand Watson because Washington's defense, again, one of these bottom 5 defenses that really sucked. So
I got it pulled up, but I love this thought experiment, because we're always on different values too. So, like, I do think this is a good exercise for the people.
All right, like my first value, if I'm doing that, I always just want to plug in the key value spots.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't care if they're chalky. Just let me do Eric All at tight end, and then let me do the Broncos defense at 2,900.
Right. If you've done this thought exercise well, you probably should end up actually with like 7,000. This is not a lineup that we would put in. It gives you a base. It's almost like a bottom-up build that you would see at OWS. But instead of like restricting yourself before you build it, we're putting all the value in and reconstructing it kind of in reverse order.
Yeah, so, like, okay, let's see. Value running backs. Like this week, I was looking at value running back, like Gibson with him supposed to start over Ramondre.
Now, I will say
Javonte for Denver against the shitty Raiders. Like, those would be the two that jump out to me, but like, I'm not so sure.
I just want to point out, we say Gibson's a starter for New England. What does that mean, really? What, 13 carries? Like, honestly, because Ramondre's still getting carries. They paid him for a reason.
I do think it would be more important on a different week, but given there's so much value at running back this week, with Trey Sermon starting for Jonathan Taylor, for example, I don't know if you need the Gibson play. But it would be enough carries for that price. It's just there might be better options.
We will have to see. Like, I'm not in favor of the Gibson play personally, but I know that, like, those are the plays that are out there. Those are going to be the chalkier ones that people are already on. Yes. Like, my favorite one would be to just pair Javonte with the Broncos defense at 5,200 and hope that I don't get screwed over by Jaleel McLaughlin. But
it's not a bad thing because that's the one thing about Williams.
Yeah, my only question about Javonte is why is his carries been so low outside of last week?
Because Sean McVay.
Sean Payton.
I always struggle with coaches, man. I gotta like get a list of coaches and just practice them all.
Peyton Manning. Wait, what? No.
But yeah, Sean Payton with the visor, man. He for some reason he blocks out the sun when it comes to running back volume. He just doesn't like it. He like uses multiple running backs. He always has. It's just a weird thing for me because I do think Williams is the better running back by far. McLaughlin's kind of a fun little gadgety guy, but I don't know. I like Williams, but he doesn't get the work.
There's not really anyone cheaper that like I would really like. I guess Tracy for New York.
You ready for me to reveal?
He's probably like he's going to be the guy in your lineup. I already know you have Tracy in your lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, go. Just bring up the real one. Bring up yours, and we'll see where we're at.
Now, again, these aren't even plays I specifically like. I just think they're the best. I pulled up the wrong one.
You didn't even have Tracy in there.
I pulled up the wrong one. Hold on. I pulled up
I was about to say like that. That didn't have any value. That had $100 left over. I did
have a value quarterback.
Just flashed everyone your own personal bits.
I did.
Like indecent lineup exposure.
Indecent. This is the one. I misclicked. No surprise.
That's more. That looks more like it. Okay.
this I think is the cheapest value for positions that you can get. Like obviously you would never play this. I think I left almost 8,000 on the table.
Oh, you did. You played the other dude. Oh, it was. I thought you were gonna have the other W guy from that game. I totally thought you were gonna have Whittington.
Well, so, you joined at a good time, man. We're just looking over lineups now, starting to build this value lineup. I told you I found some good value this weekend. Some of them I don't even think are necessary to play. I just think this is a good starting base. Would you replace any of these?
Let's see. Okay, so the Wicks value and the Slayton value makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. Kraft is the chalky tight end with no Musgrave.
Yeah. And obviously, you probably
just you punting with all Giants. Like I said, I could actually see the Giants keeping up in this game. I don't know if it's a high scoring game, but I could see them keeping up. So this lineup, to be fair, makes sense.
The lots of things.
I don't know if I would go so heavy in on it.
I would. I wouldn't.
The first thing I would do is get off of whichever 2 or 3. I probably just get off the Daniel Jones stack, and if I'm doing that, then I'm getting off of Slayton too.
Yeah,
and to be fair, I'm not a huge fan of the Tracy value. So I'd probably just get rid of every. I would start by just getting rid of all the Giants. And
right.
What we fill in from there.
I would keep a Giant, but I definitely would not play this many Giants. I think at this point you have to play some Giants given the value. But
I think the value for the Giants is playing the defense against them. Honestly, I just play the defense. I want to attack. If I'm attacking the Giants, I'm attacking the fact that they're just bad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But there's so much value on the Giants given that Neighbors is out.
I don't consider that value. They're not. They're 0 without Neighbors to me. I don't care about a Tracy getting 5 points.
Well, they don't have Neighbors. They don't have Singletary. So it's they're out their main dudes. But these guys are going to get volume. They have to play a whole game. It's not those dudes are out and then these guys are still only going to get 10 carries. There will just be more carries for them to have.
I legitimately
be more catches for them to have.
Tracy could.
I'm surprised you didn't have Wandale instead of Wicks, to be honest.
To me, I could see this Giants offense scoring 7 points the whole game, and the top score for the Giants has maybe 15 points?
If
Wandale, even in a 7-point game, if Wandale has 7 catches for 50 yards, and has that touchdown, then he has more than that. But he could be one of those guys that has 7 or 8 catches for under 100 yards, but still a good amount of yardage because they do move the ball a little bit down the field. The Giants aren't as totally inept. They're just, I agree, they're just not good.
The 3,500.
We know they're not good.
Yeah, the 3,500 for the Seahawks makes sense, Donnie. I'm just saying, you wouldn't play any Giants because I just think there's so much. To Gov's point, there's someone on this team that's got to score some points because.
Okay, well, here's my thing. Again, I told you why I'm weary because I had the stat on Detroit. So Seattle on a short week, I don't know if they come with their full vigor into this game, even though it's a home game.
Yeah.
That being said, they have been the team pushing the pace all year. So I agree. If Seattle is normal and fine, then there will be more plays for had, and there should be a high volume. This would have been a game where if Neighbors was in, I'd be playing him definitely because he would have a 30-plus point ceiling. Because he's getting 15 targets no matter what. Now he's not there. I still think there's a person who gets 12 plus 15.
Someone has to, right?
There's still going to be someone who gets 12 plus targets because there's going to be that much volume in this game. Unless, again, you could totally bet on this game to go wrong. And then, the Giants score 7 and Seattle scores 10, and it's a 10-7 game like that 10-9 game between Denver and the Jets last week. And you don't need anyone.
I do think Donnie's onto a good point, though. I think the Seahawks they're cheaper than I thought they were, and they're already averaging almost 8 points. You want to just plug in the Seahawks and see what we can do? And switch that? 3,500 is not too much.
Like I said, I'm not tempted to just go straight up at defense.
Yeah, fair enough. So you guys are both
on. But I would if I were going to switch this up, the first thing I would do is get rid of all the Giants.
Okay, so you're
Keep
off,
everything else. Get rid of all the Giants.
and Donnie's obviously off the Giants as well.
Yeah. Get rid of Daniel Jones too.
Yeah, right. So, but Donnie, you've been a fan of
This
window.
is like a solid core of like. I don't think people are playing Myers. I think they like Tucker more. But like people are going to play some Gibson because of him and the Ramondre news.
Yeah.
Trey Sermon's starting for Indy. People are going to play that. Wicks is now the number 2 wide receiver for Green Bay. He's going to be chalky. Kraft is he's their number 1 tight end, and he was being used last week with Jordan Love, so he'll be chalky.
I do think we play one of the Green Bay value. If we're not going to play any value from the Giants, I think we got to play somebody from the Packers, right?
See, my personal way of thinking about it and playing it is if I'm going to one-off someone, I want it to be Jaden Reed. Otherwise, I would just stack Jordan Love, probably with something like Wicks and Kraft.
Well,
maybe Kraft, or with one of Reed and then either Wicks or Kraft.
I'm okay with that because if you view Reed as kind of the Nico Collins guy, where it's like, yeah, he is priced up a bit, but he's not priced up for his talent. I'm okay with the Reed.
I think he's more like Debo, where it's like the way they use him, they give him some jet sweeps, they use him a lot all over the field. He's their number 1 wide receiver when he's out there, and it's like he's the kind of guy who could get there, even if Jordan Love doesn't push 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. Whereas if Wicks and another guy are getting there, it's probably a Jordan Love game. So, like, that would be my first decision, just looking at this. What would you guys do when it comes to Green Bay? Because I think we either need to get rid of one of Wicks or Kraft, or we need to turn it into a Jordan Love stack. What's your thoughts, Logan?
I would definitely get rid of Wicks or Kraft unless we wanted to make that Love stack. But the thing was, just to show the value, I obviously wouldn't play, like I say, with the Giants as well. I wouldn't play 2 players in the same team unless I was stacked.
No, I mean, I could see it, but like probably not 2 pass catchers. Like if I were going to do that, it would be like Jacobs and one of the pass catchers. But like I said, I think my more likely one-off would be a Jaden Reed or Josh Jacobs. Like I do like Josh Jacobs too. But if we did Josh Jacobs, then I'm getting rid of every other Packer in the lineup. But like, Donnie, what do you think? Would you rather get rid of one of Wicks or Kraft or make it a Jordan Love stack?
I think we get rid of Kraft and just go to the other tight end in the game. 7 targets last week, Parkinson.
I could do that.
I could do that.
Okay.
I like Williams, so that's my favorite bring back, but that is a way to be different.
Now, like I said, if we're going to do that, then the next thing I would do is turn Dontavian Wicks into Jaden Reed. Because if I'm going to one-off a Packer, I'd rather it be Jaden Reed.
That makes sense.
No, I'm okay with that. And you could argue, like I say, Reed is a value because he's only, 6,500? And if you think he's like a superstar type of guy, he's on the fringes. Like he's
he's in that range where you're kind of taking a risk. Because, like, if you think about it from, like, the 200-point lineup value, you at 6,500, you need him to get you, like, 22 to 24 points to stay on pace. But he's totally capable of doing that or getting you more, even as a one-off. Just like Debo. I think Debo at 68 is basically in the same range. He needs you to, like, basically 24, 25 points, but he can do that no problem, even if Purdy and no one else is getting there.
That's what I'm saying about the process, though, and that's why we always harp on it. It's like, we're not saying to play Reed. You said that you think that he's like Samuel and he's going to get more volume. His ownership can be way lower than Samuel. So if you think the output can be somewhat similar, it's a good play.
So I have a question. Are we playing Sermon as a flex, or are we because I'm fine with putting another running back in, but
I'm okay if you want to give it.
I would switch him to the running back spot, and then we'll see if we do 3 running backs.
Well, I mean, I have a third running back that I kind of like this week, a guy who had 7 targets and is the clear guy who's going to get the rush attempts in.
Who's that?
Ford. I didn't realize he had 7 targets last week till I started deep diving.
My only problem is the Cleveland offensive line is so weak that it's actually hurting every part of their team. Like I said, like the fact that their offensive line can't run the ball, is making it so that the defense is starting to get overexposed. So, like, I'm not as much as I like Ford, and he will get the passing work, which could help even in a bad game script, which they could be in the whole time. It's very hard for me to play Ford this week. It really is.
Washington's defense.
I'm playing him.
And that's the thing. Like, the matchup is great, but I'm just not sure what's going to happen with this Cleveland offensive line. I think it's actually very bad. Without Conklin, without the center, like, I think it could actually be very bad.
Yeah, no, I'm playing Ford, but that's with a Watson. I'm playing Ford, playing it as this is just going to be a high-scoring game. And
so Sean's going to need to throw to get him back. So, like, have Ford, maybe Amari as the double stack.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. And then bring it back.
I could understand that.
That's how I play it.
Back against a bad defense. That could work, honestly.
I will say I like it that it will work because Watson looked the best he's ever looked, I think, in the last 3 years. He was moving, and then he even downplayed it. Like, he wasn't even looking to celebrate. They were like, "Hey, you look better," out there.
24-32. I mean, this is the week to prove it. Can you be that guy once again? You have to be able to do it against Washington. You have
and
to.
That's why he was still critical, Donnie. He said, I get paid to throw the ball. I still need to improve my throwing. I will say David Njoku comes back this week. That will also help the offense. It looks likely anyway. So Evan Ingram and David are coming back.
But I really just think it's a good game script, in my opinion.
It's not bad. I like Walker. I would pay a bit more for Kenneth Walker. I kind of liked your idea of playing maybe the Seattle defense, so playing Walker and Seattle there. But I'm okay with Ford if you wanted to.
I'm just looking for cheaper.
I feel like there's better. I think there's better spots to go. Like, we'll see. Like, Ford is an okay value if we need him, but like, let's look at the rest of the lineup before we put him in. So
we have.
All right, Gibson, Sermon. All right, Myers, Reed. Okay, so
Walker and Kyron.
What do we want to do with the stack? Like, at this point, with only one wide receiver slot,
I honestly
we want to put a stack of a different game in here. We need to do it now.
I think we need to put a different stack in because I am not feeling this at all. Gonna be honest with you.
Like, I don't hate this lineup. Like, it's not great in my mind, but like,
I'm not a fan of any.
I need Gibson and Sermon to get me like 35 to 40 together. That's tough. But
I'm okay.
I might get the volume, but I don't know about Gibson.
Yeah, I don't think Gibson's a great play. He might get 2 touchdowns, but let's be honest. If he gets 2 touchdowns, the Patriots probably only scored 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, but I would still leave him in for now.
Okay.
Again, because the thing we need to do now is figure out a stack. And like, we're not going to get any better value, so we might as well leave him in to see what kind of stack we can get.
I think Tracy's a better value, but that's me.
I legitimately think Tracy's a better value than Gibson.
Well, we might go down to him if we need that money, but like, let's really decide. Like, what's the game we want to stack? We're not going to do Jordan Love. What's your favorite like stack that we would want to get to? Because like, at this point in time, I
have 2 games that I'm on this week.
What's that, Donnie?
Obviously, Cleveland, Washington, I like. And the other one I like is Houston, Buffalo. I think they both have a lot they want to prove this week.
I have some things from Houston, Buffalo. I think Tank Dell is too cheap, and Coleman, given that Shakir is out, or Dalton, or Dalton Kincaid could be interesting.
See, my problem is Buffalo. Like, they've kind of shown this year that they want to run the ball a lot. So it's hard for me to go with like Josh Allen and someone. So if I did that game, I would stack the Houston side. I'd say that. So like, if you wanted to put Stroud Diggs in there right now, I would be okay with that.
What is Diggs? I mean, we all know that the narrative with his anger. I do think he wants the ball more, but I don't know if he'll get it.
He's 6,900.
That's
nice.
That's high for me, but if you guys like this game, I'd put it in.
Again, he's in that range where it's like I need 25, 26 from him. But he can do that in this game if it really is a revenge game.
Wouldn't Tank
I'm saying, like what would we? No, because we want to play the revenge game narrative.
Yeah. Okay.
So like that's the decision. Like Donnie, do you want to put Stroud Diggs in, or would you rather do a different game? Because like I'll tell you right now, I was not looking at those two games for my stacks are coming from like Arizona San Fran or that Indy Jacksonville game. And like if we're gonna play Sermon, I would want to put in like Trevor Lawrence and a passing piece from that.
That's what I would do. But I don't think Donnie's on Trevor Lawrence. I do think this is good.
I just can't bring myself to personally play Trevor right now. He's not played it high enough. He's missed a lot of throws. So that's where I'm at with Trevor.
Could we afford a Josh Allen stack though, where we go Diggs and then Josh Allen? Or is that too much?
I mean,
afford it. I'm sure we could afford it. We still have a defense to put in.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not sure I like that at all.
Yeah, it does hamper us. Even if we
naked Josh Allen with Diggs on the other side. Like again, I'd rather just play Stroud, but I'm not heavy on that game. So like, you guys would have to be this that we do that. Otherwise, like I said, I'd rather do T-Law or put in Purdy and Debo.
I don't like Purdy this week. I think the
San Fran.
Yeah.
Like that would be my
Arizona
thought.
Did not show that they're the best of teams. Like they easily get blown out.
I guess the game we're not thinking about is we could just do like Burrow Chase.
I do like Burrow Chase
instead of Diggs Stroud. Because like that's another high total game, Baltimore Cincy. And if it goes off, like you could do Burrow Chase, you could even do Lamar Flowers or something.
My thing is, here's my deal. If I play Trevor, if I agree, like Trevor is the value here, we have to put Kirk with him. He's getting too many targets.
I'm okay with that, but
I really prefer Brian Thomas. I think Kirk got a bunch of targets in a game last week where
in the past 2 weeks he's been over 10 targets.
I was just looking at.
I thought it was just last week.
No,
he had 10 targets and 12 targets. Yeah.
So Ingram is targeting to play with that.
But in that same time, like I love the rookie, and he's got 9 targets, and like I think he's going to be more of use, whereas Kirk will have his spike weeks. But again, like I'm not going to argue against you. If you say T-Law Kirk, I can go T-Law Kirk.
You know I'm a Kirk guy. I really like his talent. So that's where I'm at. I would if we're playing Trevor, I want to pair him with who I deem.
You got to get rid of Diggs, or else we won't be able to get Kirk in there.
We can put Kirk in the flex, can't we?
Yeah, but I'm not playing Diggs without like stacking that game.
Yeah,
so, like, we're going from the playing Diggs and that to playing Kirk and T-Law. There we go.
Okay, so we'll play. I like T-Law. I can suffer through the Kirk thing. I think there's better stacking partners, but I do think Trevor is a good value this week.
He's probably like, other than maybe Flacco in that same game, I think T-Law would be my value quarterback on the week. Like I can see Deshaun, but I don't think I will get to Deshaun in any of my builds.
I think the ownership will be great on him too because he hasn't performed well. But he hasn't had any game under 15, I feel like, all season. And everyone knows that Indianapolis is a run funnel. So everyone's just going to try to play maybe the running game. But the problem with that is like Bigsby and Travis Etienne, you don't know where to split the baby there. So, all right. So what? Did you like Myers, Donnie? Because I don't think Gov did, but I thought he was a good value this week. Do you have any?
I don't love it against Denver. Like, do you figure Patrick Surtain's going to be on him?
We might, and I have a feeling we'll switch Myers in our flex to a 2v2. But like, what's your favorite defense now at this point? Like, I think we could literally play the most expensive defense and then still play basically anybody.
Yeah, to me,
we might as well pick our defense now and just pick the fit.
I don't care on defense. What do you got, Donnie?
I would just go Seattle if we're not playing any Giants anyway.
Okay, I'm fine with that now.
I'm
fine going to say I didn't want to do it at the beginning of the lineup. I don't want to just stick I'd rather just stick a cheap one in and then see if I got to adjust it or stick a mid-price in and fluctuate from there. But like we're at the very end of the lineup. I don't mind like
I do have an idea.
My thing is I want to play K9 instead of Gibson at that point though.
You want to play who?
Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I'm actually fine with Ken Walker. I'm perfectly fine correlating that.
I love Ken Walker. Obviously Michigan State guy. It cost you a lot of money, I think, in week 1, Donnie. So maybe he's got some good juju for you this week.
He did cost me about $200.
Yeah, he did.
So so screw that guy. I'm not going to play him anymore.
I do think we could.
Screw that guy. I'm going home. What?
I think if we got rid of Myers, that we could go to Diggs and then Coleman.
Hold on. I'm looking at that. Okay, so I'm just trying to get the lineup in myself so I can double check some stuff. Okay, so before the Gibson thing, we had 8,600.
I'm just gonna play around. I'm not locking it. I just want to see what it looks like. Yeah, we could go Dalton Kincaid, Diggs, or I believe we could go Coleman. Maybe Coleman Nico, maybe because Coleman's really cheap. And then
again, okay, this is the disgusting one, but Indy is so bad. We could just lean into Jacksonville having a get-right game, and you play ETN also.
No?
Because I prefer to be fair, I prefer ETN to stacking T-Law.
You guys
just isn't getting the work I expected him to.
His volume is very
mostly
bad.
due to game script. Like
last week was because of injury. He had 11 carries and an injury in the second quarter.
He is cheaper though.
Buffalo, they were down the whole game, so he had 17 touches if you count his targets.
It's true. Maybe
the Cleveland game, that was a close game that was weird, and he still had 7. To be fair, I'm looking at a guy getting 15 to 17 opportunities.
In Miami, weren't they down for a bit, or was it the opposite?
No, Miami was down basically the entire game. And he still had 15. But that, again, they've been using I'll agree. They use Tank. He doesn't get a full 100% workload. But he does get all the good workload. He gets the passing game work. He's due for a get-right game, and you can run all over Indy. Pittsburgh ran all over him last week. Even though, it didn't really go to Najee, he didn't hit his stuff because for the first time all year, they decided to split him pretty evenly with Cordero Patterson, and Justin Fields got all the red zone attempts. So, when Justin Fields steals 2 red zone touchdowns and Cordero Patterson has 10 touches, that's kind of a game where it's okay, they're not giving Najee 20 attempts. If Najee had his 20 attempt game, he probably has one of those touchdowns. He probably has a lot more work because Indy was just giving it up. So I could even see taking a shot on Tank as a cheap guy, but he's a very, very, I think that's way worse than Tracy or Gibson even. But it is viable with the usage he gets and the defense he's going against. But like I said, I'm willing to take a shot on ETN this week, especially when I hear a lot of people wanting to play T-Law because Indy's defense is so bad.
Yeah.
But they're burned by playing Najee last week, thinking it was the run defense, where the run defense, from all of the metrics I see, was still very awful. It just didn't go all through one running back.
I thought Trevor was 7,000. It's not as gross as I thought. What do you think, Donnie?
I'm not mad at it. I mean, Trevor was not ever going to be priced up. He hasn't had any good game. Really, Trevor Lawrence should have had 4 touchdowns last week. He blatantly missed Thomas on one and then blatantly missed Kirk on another. He should have had 4 touchdowns.
I truly like the Collins, the either going Diggs and then getting someone to come back, or going Collins and Coleman. But we could afford Diggs and then Kincaid. It'd be a 2 tight end lineup, but because remember Shakir is out, so that's why I'd be interested in that game.
See, I was at this similar point where my flex in one of my running backs, I was really stuck on for a while.
Mm-hmm. I know Gov has a short out, so if we're going to build a second lineup, we might want to.
Oh, we'll get to it in a sec. Okay, well, see, there's another lock play that I really want to get in.
What if
we might just have to do it in the next lineup because, actually, this leaves us in the range where it's possible.
Well, Gov figures this out. On that point, I don't think that's an overpay. I think you're getting the best player in the deal. I don't love getting rid of Connor, but JMO's had his ceiling weeks. Does it continue? Maybe. You might regret it later, but I don't think that's a bad deal.
I would agree with that. I will say, by the way, if you haven't heard, it's a good call out to pay attention to injuries, so good on you for that. But Joe Flacco is definitely starting. Richardson will sit. He did get some practice in early this week, which gave some people some optimism, but it looks from all accounts, unless we have a surprise that I don't know about, Flacco is definitely 100% getting the start.
Yeah, I'm seeing Flacco pretty much getting the start here as well.
You could stack Stafford, but I don't like a lot of his wing backs. At least if we're punting at tight end, it's like, well, we know Stafford likes tight ends. And I do think it's a good leverage off of Kyron Williams. And any thoughts, though?
I'm trying to think. I don't like that 5,500 range in the flex. So,
I really don't.
Bigs there, but I'm also looking at a bunch of 2v2s, and every time I think I find one, I'm $100 off.
I like Slayton, but obviously Donnie doesn't want any Giants.
Could I get us on Whittington maybe, and take out Parkinson for a different tight end? Whittington had 8 targets last week.
Whittington I could do because he got tons of targets.
8 targets last week.
Yeah, he was the other W guy I was thinking you were going to play. I could do Whittington as a cheap guy.
Okay, so let's take out Parkinson and go Whittington, and then let's figure out a different tight end instead.
I got it. What about David Njoku or Evan Ingram?
I'm not trusting that they're actually going to play this week. I know they're questionable. I know they said they've been playing, but I think those guys are easily capable of not playing, and I'd rather not have to do the global swap on Sunday morning. So,
where does that leave us for tight end spots?
I think
is this where we go Kincaid?
Dalton Kincaid. That's what I was going to say. That's my favorite for this lineup.
God, I hate these pay up tight ends this week. They all
but he should be the number one wide receiver. There was an argument with Shakir, but now Shakir is out.
See, and I'd almost rather just if you're going to do that, I'd rather just go straight down to Eric All and pay down at tight end.
I don't mind that either. Because
give me the dude that only needs to get me 10 points that might actually get 10 points.
Because then we have some options to Baltimore.
Then we can probably jam one more good pay up at that point.
Also, I was going to mention Theo Johnson. That was another cheap tight end I didn't mention. There's talks he might get some more work this week.
Can we just go Henry and then move up somewhere else? Honestly.
Yeah, I'm actually fine with that.
Okay, so let's go put Henry in there.
I'm okay with that. Actually, we can afford it.
Yeah, and then we have 1,000 left. Do we want to move anywhere? That's the question.
All right. Okay. Now at this point,
I would move up to Williams if I was you. I would take Ken Walker to Williams.
To Kyron? Yeah, that makes sense.
Ken Walker.
Well, we have so much Rams already. I don't know.
We do, don't we?
We could make Mason. Ooh, I like it. See, Mason is a guy I really like.
Do we go up to Mason and then just go San Fran defense?
So we take out Sermon or we leave Sermon in? We're moving up from Walker?
We'd have to take Walker out if we want to get Mason, I think. Yeah, we would.
Fair
enough. We have to take out Walker.
I like Mason this week. I think Mason could catch a lot more passes. He hasn't done it yet.
We know San Fran's going to focus a run game. They run the ball to make their offense. So they're going to do that.
He's getting work in the receiving game, so we know he's possible. But I really do think there's an 8.
Okay, now do we want Seahawks defense, or do we want just to get off the Giants chalk and say the Giants suck, or do we just go and correlate it with our running back?
There's going to be a lot of Giants chalk this week. Somebody's going to play Slayton or Tracy. I do think it's good leverage, but
okay.
Yeah, I actually like this lineup the way it is. There's a decent amount. Eric All's probably going to end up a little chalky. Whittington's pulling as the chalky 4K wide receiver. That LA Rams game is probably going to hold some stuff. If we'd have gone with the love stack in the beginning, we would have needed to take some shots. But I think we're pretty good here because Henry's not going to be very chalky.
Yeah.
As much as people like like a cheap running back, I don't think they're going to get on Sermon as much.
No, they won't, because
probably not going to pull much ownership.
Because Tracy's a receiving back and he's 1,000 cheaper, if not more than 1,000. So people are just gonna, people like money. They like to win money and have the most money possible in their lineup. Do we have time to build another one or not?
Yeah, we can do our normal draft lineup this time. So, all right, reverse order. So Donnie, you'll have the first pick.
First pick.
You go ahead and make it if you got it, but if not, I just want to make sure I pick the 3-inch max.
Let me double check my spots where I'm at.
Again, these aren't guaranteed lineups. There might be changes. We don't want to do this for don't do this. Actually, truly, it doesn't help. We're showing this more as a process.
I think it just makes a lot of sense here.
Mm-hmm.
Just go ahead and let's get a guy like Terry McLaurin in there.
I don't mind Terry McLaurin. I like F1. If I knew Daniels was going to be this good, I would have had him. We have a Daniels best ball team, so we did believe in the Commanders team when a lot of people didn't. It's my pick now, right?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to make you guys puke, but I'm going to give you a lot of money. Tracy, he's just too cheap. The cheap option, whether it be Dalton, whether it just hasn't failed me. Like one really super cheap guy has always got me there. I played Cam Akers earlier this season. The cheap guy, he doesn't do anything flashy, but he affords different lineups, and that's what I like about it.
See, I was trying to get another lineup up, but it was actually my pick. Again, the middle guy.
Yeah.
No, don't worry. You're probably going to get to put Tracy in as your next pick. So just leave him in there and then throw in Debo.
He's my favorite pick on the board. So it definitely would have been.
So you can take my middle pick's going to be Debo. So you can go after that too. So you get your second pick right there.
I like Debo.
Yeah, Debo's definitely one of my I like Mason and Debo. I'm more on Mason, but since we got him in the other lineup, let's go the other way and go with Debo in this lineup.
So now it's my pick again, right?
Yes. We will fix this. It's all good. Lauren, it's 6,100.
Oh, what do I do here? Let's see. Let me get another value that I really like this week. Let me get Dalton Kincaid.
God damn it.
No, I don't like Dalton. Let me do the switch. If I need to, I can switch. But I like David and Jericho this week. It goes better with our stack.
Hopefully he returns. If not, we'll see.
Actually, no, can I make a change?
There's places. Sure, it's your pick. It's get your last pick in.
Yeah, I want Brock Bowers. I didn't realize that Brock was so close. He's only 5,500. I know he disappointed this week, but there's a chance he could have 11 targets.
I know, it's weird. They went from using him a lot to the last 2 weeks, not using him so much at home.
He's the big body.
Maybe on the road again, they go to use him.
The reason I switched was because I found out Myers was out, and I didn't know that last night. So he might get even more usage because now they got him and Hooper on the team, I believe.
Yeah, he is one of the only tight ends. So
sorry, I kept changing that, but that shows you that information changes my mind. And once I found out Myers was out, it does change usage a lot.
All right.
I don't know who the third tight end is on the Raiders, but Hooper's a Patriot. So
is he?
Yeah.
I gotta find out who. I'm pretty sure it's one of the olds.
Harrison Bryant.
See, that's what I must have got that mixed in my head because I was thinking David and Jericho.
Yeah, you just kept naming Cleveland Browns.
That's what it was.
It's fine. You wrong Cleveland Browns former tight end.
All right, Gov, your pick.
Yes, I'm looking right now. I'm looking at the lineup. I'm looking at the money we have left. I see that we still have some value to get in defense, but we're probably going to need one other value play in this lineup. That being said, I want to get a mini correlation that we're probably not going to have anywhere else. So throw in Amari Cooper.
Cooper. I like Cooper. He got very unlucky last week. I feel like if he
he did have a penalty callback, like a 60-yard touchdown that
was a weak penalty.
Basically break the slate.
It was very weak. And if he would have caught that touchdown.
Oh, he caught it. They just called it back.
Right,
it would have been a 12-point.
If it would have counted, he would have been 7,200 this week. I truly believe that.
Oh yeah, probably.
That makes it my pick.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
All right.
You for 2, and then me and Logan will finish it off.
Just throwing my favorite quarterback this week, throwing Watson.
Oh, you're going to make the stack.
I don't mind it. He has been running the ball a lot more.
You don't play famous Jameis in case something happens to the perv?
Oh man, that would be lovely.
If I lose because Deshaun Watson gets a career-ending injury, I will be happy. So that's all I'll say.
Oh God. I don't know if I want to go that far. I'm not going that far.
I will. I will go that far.
Make your final pick then.
My final pick, I'm going to fill out our running back position.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Oh, no.
Let me narrow down my list here.
No.
No. Yes. Just
Stevenson?
No.
No.
Logan.
It's gonna be Cook.
James Cook.
Or
do you mean Dalvin in the Sunday night game?
You copied me of the line? You're not supposed to copy me. I mean, it's your money, so we don't copy bills. So James Cook?
Yes, James Cook.
James Cook.
As long as you want
$7K, like I get it, but like I feel I'd rather just go down to Walker or ETN.
But if it were,
honestly, I was hoping you were going to leave me running back so I could play my other favorite play, and that would have been Josh Jacobs.
I don't mind Jacobs either, but right now I'm on Cook. Let's see what
you're on Cook. All right, so it's my pick, and then Logan gets the end. So Logan, I'm gonna be the nice guy for you and give you all the choice in the world.
Oh wow, I did not expect that.
So plug in for me the New England defense.
I like it. I
like that a lot.
It's going to be a pivot off the chalky Broncos defense, but I think they're in the same sort of position. They're due for a good game. Miami kind of sucks right now.
We haven't talked about it, but Skylar Thompson, I guess, could play in this game. And then apparently they're saying that Scoop didn't know the offense and he knows it better now. Are you buying that a bit? Because I do want to play. I'll be honest. I do want to play Tyreek Hill. Is that stupid? I really do want to play Tyreek Hill.
I think it's stupid right now. They're trying to get him the ball. Eventually, he'll have a 2-touchdown.
Almost got the ball though in a sloppy, nasty game. And if he would have done that, he would hit value, wouldn't he have? I don't know. Maybe talk me out of it, Donnie. I think I'm going to commit.
I'm not against it. I think at that price, you're never going to get Tyreek Hill at better prices again.
Yeah.
This version of Tyreek Hill, I should say.
It's true. I did not expect this.
I think the choice is quite clear.
Oh, who do you think it is? Because it's not clear to me.
Brian Thomas. I thought for sure you'd lock in one of your favorite young guys.
I do like him a lot. I'm just not sure it fits with the correlation here.
I don't think.
How about you just go all in? We could go all in on Cleveland, and you could put in Jerome Ford.
You could do that too.
You could grab a piece of Seattle and grab in Jigba or something.
Yeah, I could do that. I do think Brian Thomas is a good value here. We're already betting on this team. We got a lot of targets where people are not playing targets. I feel like Cooper's got a lot more targets than most at this point. Oh, let's lock this in. Hurry up, copy this lineup now. Make sure you get it. In all seriousness, though, it's your money. If you like our process, be more willing to put it in if you actually like it. there's plenty of tweaks though that you can make.
Yeah, very 2v2s, 1v1s, things like that. Blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, different stack. Like, how many people are actually going to play Deshaun Watson? Like, good God, people.
Not enough, honestly. I can't.
Probably not enough. Yeah, like I say that, and he's taking down the Millie this week. So like, I argue.
If he does, then I have a great week.
Honestly, he could have a bad game and still get there at that price because he has some rushing upside. Like he's not a statue. Like he's not Matthew Stafford. He's not a statue. He's not even reliant on other people around him doing well. I don't know.
Honestly, I really just love my Watson lineup so much. I know there's 5 I'll be playing this week, 5 contests, but I think I'll do a Watson lineup in over half.
That's a very good point, though. Sometimes your best lineups have money on the table. Like the money is available. That doesn't mean you have to spend it. You know.
My Watson personally has 5 left. 500 left.
So. Now, if you have like 3,000 left, I think you're making a mistake. There's times that you got to spend, and then there's times that you got to hold it. DFS is a lot like poker, actually. Any other thoughts, Gov? I want to get you out of here on time so that way you can get to work.
No, like I think we went over. Like I love ETN and the Jacksonville guys, but I think everyone's going to play the receivers. And again, Kirk, Brian Thomas, both great plays. But like I'm going to be so heavy on Jaden Reed, and we never actually got the one running back I wanted, which was Josh Jacobs. I think like if Jaden Reed and Jordan Love don't go off, it will be Josh Jacobs that has like a 20 carry game.
I do think Jordan Love is going to be very popular in the PMR quarterbacks. Like of all the late quarterbacks, I feel like he'll be the chalky one. I would agree with the Diggs thing. If you buy into the narrative, like he is highly motivated. I don't know if CJ Stroud is as motivated as Diggs. If they're on the same page, Diggs is the smash this week. But he's also like kind of a head case and kind of very emotional, so he could get himself out of the game. Similar to Mike Evans when he played the Saints, you'd either get the highest level of emotion and it would be a good thing, or it could be a very bad thing, and he lets his emotions spill out in the wrong way. But with that being said, though, good afternoon, guys. Take care. I guess I can say good night now. It's starting to get, darker in the Midwest. So good night. Take care. And just pay attention to injuries. I'm glad that guy came in today and asked about Anthony Richardson and found out about Flacco. That's what we do here. We're talking process. But after that, have fun. Be smart. Gamble responsibly. Good night.
Peace out, everyone.